I caged my cameras. You can too. Keep watching to learn how and why this is a good thing. When I first started making videos, I thought a tripod was the only way to hold my camera for steady shots. Then I saw what a cage can do for you, and I said, I need one of those, but I'll build my own because I want more from it than what's available, and it's more entertaining that way for me, and you get to see how it can be done. Why use a cage? We create how-to videos, and most of any of our videos are of me or Sherry or another friend making, repairing, or teaching things, how things are done. This means set up a camera or two on tripods, start recording while we do whatever we're going to do. But there are other things that need to be set up as well, and they may be on or near the camera that really may need to connect to the camera itself. Now, hanging this stuff on the tripod has resulted in a number of broken devices when they fall off. And when doing a handheld shot, adding this stuff was mostly not an option. A cage surrounding the camera gives you places to attach things. The attachment points are solid to the camera, so where the camera goes, so do they. A cage also gives you additional ways to hold the camera that can help steady it, even with a big lens. Now, I also wanted to provide more in our videos, such as behind the scenes footage and additional angles of the work being done, but this needed more cameras in an area that is often crowded already. The cage gives me more places to set up these cameras. So why build it? Well, I wanted a cage that would work for all of my cameras, not just the Yi M1, but also the GoPro and the Vivitar action cameras that I have. Also, any one of the many smartphones that I use as a camera or as a monitor controller for the other cameras. I also wanted it to be expandable to include other equipment I get in the future. Plus, this cage has cost me less than $20 in new materials, and that's even with leftovers for further expansion. Well, how did I build it? Now, this build has a mechanically declined to mechanically inclined rating of 4, and you're going to need a lot of different tools to accomplish this task. Drills, taps, countersinks, C-clamps, and a whole bunch more. The drill bit sizes I listed are the minimum sizes. You can use drill bits that are a little larger, especially for the tapped holes. Now, this makes cutting the threads a little easier on the tap, so it's less likely to break in the hole. A dial caliper makes this faster, but you can use a ruler or a tape measure to mark out the hole locations. First, cut the bars to the sizes needed. Now, I used a hacksaw in this case, but a miter saw will work on aluminum as well. Make sure that the material is clamped down so it doesn't move around while you cut. If it moves around, that just makes it harder to cut a straight line. Next, remove the burrs from the parts and give them a rounded edge where possible. This can be done with a file, but this will take time. A router table with a fence can be used with a 1/8 inch round over bit. This is much faster, but it is also more advanced and brings the mechanically inclined rating up to 7. If you choose to use a router, be very careful. It can and will route whatever goes into it, including your fingers. Now, lay out and drill the holes for mounting devices. A Sharpie can be used to color the surface so that when it's scratched with a sharp edge, it'll leave a very fine line for locations. That way you can be accurate. Once I had the locations, I center punched each hole location to give the drill bit starting point so it would not wander much. Where you put the holes is up to you. You need 1/4 threaded holes to mount the cage to a tripod and 1/4 inch diameter through holes to attach most cameras with a bolt or screw. I chose to use all 1/4 threaded holes in the bottom bar, centered 1/2 inch apart, with a single 1/4 threaded hole in the center of the bar for tripod mounting. The advantage of this is that I can drill out any of these holes to 1/4 inch through later if I need to. The sidebars also only had 1/4 threaded holes. The top, I alternated between threaded holes and through holes because I knew I needed those through holes for GoPro mounts and mounting clamps for smartphones. I located several holes in the camera tab to mount to the bottom bar and mount a camera to it. This layout gives me the freedom to move the camera to the right or left if needed. I can also reverse this tab and move the camera forward in the cage. The The 1/4 threaded holes need a number 7 drill bit for cut taps as a minimum. Drill slowly in aluminum so that the drill doesn't overheat the aluminum and make it stick to the drill bit. Adding soapy water or a light oil will keep it cooler. Same goes for the tap, but more so. If the tap stops turning, don't force it. Just reverse the direction a little and then go forward again, keeping the tap cool and lubricated. With a larger tap like the 1/4, I like using the slow speed of a battery-powered drill. This does the work faster, and the tap will slip in the drill chuck if it has too much resistance. This is when I reverse. With all of the 1/4" and 1/4 holes drilled and tapped, I now use the scrap block of wood to align the bars together, and this helps me to make the connections square to each other and give me a way to drill matching holes for each of the parts going together. I used number 6 32 screws to assemble the parts together, 2 at each connection. The number 36 drill bit is the minimum size for tapping 632 holes. I used that size drill bit to drill through both parts at the connection, but I only tapped the holes in the top and bottom bars. The holes in the side bars were drilled out with a number 28 drill bit to be through holes for the 632 screws. That way the screws tighten the parts together when assembled. With all of the holes drilled and tapped, I then assembled the 5 bars together with screws. I added some additional 1/4 screws and washers to the bars to give me spares for when I lose some or when I add another device. Now, I haven't put all of the devices on the cage yet. Some of those I haven't even built yet, but everything I've tried so far has worked very well. I also plan to paint it black to match the rest of my gear and make some extension handles to go along with the monopod selfie stick that I attached to it. Now it's all water. This is actually the way it's supposed to be. Lake Elsinore is filling up.
Thanks for watching our video. If you like what you see, press the like button below and subscribe. And also check out our other videos.
And record a selfie at the same time. Of course, I have to remember to look at the camera. This camera, not the one that I'm shooting everything else on.